Hi, this is Sherry Veronica, and with me today is Victor Callender, and he wants to talk about what he sees as a lost generation in Barbados. Victor, are you there, Victor?
I am.
Okay. I want you to
Yes.
just go right in. Just go right in. I know
I'd
you.
like to offer my deepest condolences to the family of the young man that died of a stabbing wounds the other day. So sorry to hear about your loss. But I want to talk about the prospects of a lost generation. I think that we in Barbados need really to roll up our sleeves, take off our shoes, proverbially, of course, and roll right into helping these children. We have a crisis situation in Barbados, and just like most Barbadians can roll into the frolic of partying on the Jolly Roger and other things in Barbados, we need to come with some level of immediacy to the problems that face our children. Mia Motley, Dale Marshall, the Minister of Education, clerics, social landscape people in Barbados, which obviously means all of us, we need to move with immediacy to some level of atonement, with solving the problems that face our young people in Barbados. Because we have a generation of children that will be lost if we don't, with immediacy, move to curbing the problems that these young people face today. There's no longer in our midst the ability to deal with conflict resolution properly. And we have to be able to reach out, each one reach one, each one touch one. We need to have a day or days where we walk the streets of Barbados and we talk, engage young people in order to find out what they're thinking and what's going on with them. And it needs to be done in a substantive way. I saw a video by Corey Lane very recently that led me to inconsolable tears, because these are young people that Corey Lane spoke to. And the issue is so obvious, Sherry, that we have the ability at our disposal. If we can go and party and celebrate all of these festive days, Crop Over Festival, let's get out there with public service announcements.
I think it's too far gone. I think that sounds good. It sounds good when you hear people speaking with such passion. But from a spiritual point of view, I think we must allow, and I'm putting this in quotes, the gods. I think we must give the gods back the power that they had in the beginning, because what did they tell us? What did they say to earthlings? They said, when you breed, you're bringing your kids into sin and into iniquity. They're dirty, filthy rags. That's what the gods have said, because we are doing something and we don't know what we are doing. So I think we need to give that power back to the gods, and for a nation that calls itself a Christian nation, when someone tells you that you're bringing your kids, you're birthing kids into sin, into iniquity, you're birthing kids to experience slavery, because you're going to tell them to go there and find a job. You're bringing kids in to get sick, because that's what happens on this earth. You're bringing kids in to get weak, to get feeble, to die. When you hear all of that and see it written on the pages of something you hold dear, they say, like I said, they say that they are a Christian nation. Why not say at one point, some point you have to say, we have this thing all wrong. All this having sex, all this having kids, we watch our kids, dying before us. We're bringing our kids into poverty. If even they're not, even if we have enough money to support them, they still get sick, they still get old. We still put them out at a certain age and tell them, hey, get out there and work. It is something that we are not equipped to do. We are not equipped to raise children, especially on the earth. So we need to give it back to the gods. So I know what you're saying sounds really good, really good. But sometimes I sit on the precipice. Sometimes I find that I pull myself out so much from the earth that I almost see like robots, like almost as though we are like toys being assembled and played and for the amusement or something else. It doesn't seem real to me. It does not seem real. What is happening in the earth? What is happening in Barbados? Barbadians sat too long in slavery. That's number one. Barbadians sat too long in slavery. There's no way you can explain that to the world. No way. There are no words you can use to explain that to the world. And then to rise up and walk up, Mother Sally. You're still eating the intestines of the pig that you ate when you were a slave. But what you do is you romance everything. They romance everything. When I talk about poverty in the place where Rihanna was born, they came on me like wolves. They romance it. They're breathing into it. They're breathing into poverty and they love it. We need to give the power back to the gods. Whoever created this and they tried on many occasions to destroy it, but we're still here. We're still here. We're like shinks. We're still here. No matter what the gods have done. But at some point, people who say that they hold what is written in the holy books there. You're going to have to start looking at those words written on the pages and say, hey, sin, iniquity, slavery, we are trapped here. We can't go anywhere. We're stuck here on the earth. Our kids die. We die. We all shit. We all piss. Maybe we don't know what we're doing. You're going to have to get to that stage. But I'm going to let you go continue on. And that's all I have to say about this. I beg my kids, I beg people around me, do not have children. Do not bring them into this world of war, of betrayals, of theft, of everything that can go wrong. Do not bring a child into this world. And that's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. Victor?
Yes. So for me, I feel that while we are here living in this place, relatively dispossessed of so many things, the least we can afford to be dispossessed of is the integrity and the fortitude to not let all. I beg anybody who's listening out there to let's have Miss Motley, let's have a day of atonement in Barbados.
It can't happen, but it sounds good. But go ahead, please.
Let's have a day of atonement, Miss Motley. I beg that of you. I've not asked the government of Barbados as a Barbadian born for anything, but I ask you, Dale Marshall, and the Parliament of Barbados and the clerics. Let's start there. And then from there, from that period of atonement, the word broken down simply means at one-ment. We can launch into trying to facilitate understanding the causation of why we're having children lost.
Because they romanced slavery into the 21st century. That's why everything you say, as good as it sounds really good, Victor. But from a spiritual point of view, sin, listen to the words, sin, iniquity, slavery, death, it cannot work. I am not even religious. I do not even believe in God, but they're going to have to give it over to the gods who created them. They're going to have to give God back the power and say, okay, it's out of our hands. It's out of our hands. Are Bajans going to do that? Are Bajans going to do that?
So, I don't know that Barbadians will. All I can do is ask. I'm just a citizen asking. In the middle of all of this turmoil, in the middle of all of this, we have to put our feet on what we perceive as terra firma and move forward in our thinking, because we are losing a generation of innocence. We are losing it. It's becoming corrupted, and we need to find a solution.
Until the mothers, until parents and the teachers tell everyone in Barbados, get rid of that slave name, whatever your last name is. Let's move forward, like you just said. Moving forward, get rid of the slave name, and whatever you ate when you were a slave, don't eat it anymore. Do not eat it. Move forward. You have to move forward in your thinking. That's what you just said, right? Moving forward in your thinking. Stop romancing. Stop romancing the slavery. No more Mother Sally. Do not put no big set of paper in your back ass and walk around shaking your back ass, your big ass all over the street, going back to slave times. It's a big order. It's a grand order that you were talking about here. It's nothing simple. There's nothing simple about it. Barbadians have romanced slavery into the 21st century. Now, where can you go from there? Where can you go from there?
You have to change. It needs a philosophical and spiritual change. And the spiritual and philosophical change only comes when people decide it's affecting our households on a grand level, and we are going to put an end to the slaveocracy that has been, as you said, romanticized for hundreds of years. And if we're willing to change the way we do business in Barbados with national ID cards and currencies, then it tells me that if we're able to change on that level, that we can change on other levels too. If the government can legislate or mandate that, it also can mandate and legislate to some extent a change of consciousness from the context of the way Barbadians think.
I don't know.
Across the board.
I want to give a shout out to all the women who consciously decided not to have children. I want to give a shout out to all the women who were born barren. Do not worry, do not cry, do not wish to have a kid. I want to give everyone who decided consciously not to have a child and bring it into this world. I want to give you a shout out. Sin, iniquity, death, sickness, working like slaves, working day in and day out and still not getting ahead, romancing poverty. There's no way out. Give it back over to the people who created the earth, because you do not know what you're doing. You just do not know what you're doing. And again, I give a shout out to women who've decided consciously, not here. I'm not here. I could have a child, but not here.
So I believe that we have to have a change. I agree with you on some parts of your conversation here, Sherry, as far as changing from a slave mentality or from a mentality that preserved slavery and ancestrally and otherwise, changing that abnormality into some level of normalcy to where Barbadians can, evade the crisis that we are now facing. And that's what I wanted to say today.
Thank you.
We have a crisis. Yes. Houston, we have a crisis.
And it will continue. And I'm not a pessimist. I'm just very, very practical. Very, very practical in what I say and what I see and what I have experienced. Like, for instance, this lady came back to Barbados, elderly, repatriated back to Barbados. You call them a returning national. She went back to Barbados. All $300,000 of her money is gone. People spent it like water, like drinking water, and they're not going to spend much time in jail. And another woman returned. She has someone signing to help her out. She's an elderly person. Her money is gone. It's not going to change. They spent too long in slavery. It cannot be washed away. It cannot be washed away. It cannot be spoken away. It cannot be prayed away. They have to actually give themselves over and say, we do not know what we are doing. We are birthing kids into slavery. We are birthing kids into poverty. I do not have a house. I do not work anywhere. I have no money in the bank. And I'm pregnant with my fifth kid. My fifth kid. That's it for me. This is Shay Veronica. Do you want to say anything else, Victor?
Barbados, hope springs eternal.
Okay.
Hope springs eternal.
Okay.
And we have got to reach out to each other, because we can't kill each other and expect things to change.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so very much, Victor. And like I said, sin, iniquity, slavery, death. Think hard. Be wise. This is Shay Veronica.